She's made AI do amazing things and hilariously weird things. Today, we're talking about both. Welcome to the AI Empowered Mom Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Dooley. We're on a mission to reduce the mental load of motherhood using AI, one laugh, one fail, one breakthrough at a time. I'm joined by my dear friend and my neighbor, Rachel Kohn, powerhouse product director, and a mom who's always experimenting with new ways to use AI in her work and her life, everything from vibe coding to vibe meal planning. Some of her AI wins are positively jaw-dropping, and some of her AI fails are unforgettable, and that is why I invited her to join today. Rachel, thank you so much for joining. Can you start us off and tell us a little bit about your life and your family? What does life look like for you?
Sure, I'd love to. I typically lead that question with my professional background, and I just realized and paused because I'm going to lead with my family and my actual life, which is kind of huge for me. I have a 6-year-old daughter and a husband who is a tech entrepreneur, a dog who's obsessed with me. I think stating only child is important because I am a first-time mother experiencing life daily with her. And I think as we talk about AI a little bit more, that's something that's really helping me navigate this with her.
I love that. Well, what about your professional background? Can you share a little bit about your working background, working in tech, and what projects look like for you?
Yeah, I am a product director and I've been in mobile gaming for the past decade, right? It's unbelievable to say because I'm only 25. There's that.
Weird.
Funny how things like that work.
Well, do you want to talk about any of the projects that you're working on?
I sure can. I've got a project I'm working on. I'm calling it Iggy, which my daughter hates, but I love. I can explain more in a future podcast what that means. But, so as a product director, I'm kind of typically responsible for orchestrating all of the pieces of the puzzle, bringing them all together to essentially bring something to life, right? Create a team with a shared vision and focus. But most importantly, I've always had people to lean on around me. I've had technical directors, creative directors, experience directors, data analysts, all of these people around me with me supporting the bigger picture. And so something I'm working on right now is pushing myself and challenging myself to see if I can build something on my own. In the past, a year ago, I would have said, no, this is my role and these are the supporting collaborators around me. And it takes an entire team to bring things to life, right? And I'm a big advocate for teams. And it's funny, I'm now using AI, probably way too many tools, way too many $20 a month tools, I'll say, to do technical work, data analysis, creative, UI, UX, all of these things that I've leaned so heavily on other people for. So it's kind of what I'm working on now. It's a fun project. It's to challenge myself and really force me to dive into AI and kind of learn more.
Rachel, it's so inspiring to hear you take your experience as a leader of a dynamic team and then bring it down and now challenge yourself to build something on your own. I love to hear that. I just want to take a pause and ask, like, you mentioned your background is in product, but do you have an AI background or are you learning this as you go?
I do not have an AI background. Well, I'll say this, AI empowered mom, living room sessions was my beginning. I think my first encounter with AI was, he'll kill me for sharing this story, but you remember like years ago, people were using ChatGPT for the first time. My husband would text me these really thoughtful messages and I'm like, wow, this is weird. Yeah, so that was like my first intro to AI was getting really thoughtful, well thought emails and texts from family.
Well, I spend so much of my days and nights because I love to talking to moms about how they use AI. So I think have a bit of an expert opinion here to say that you, as a mom using AI, really push the boundaries and you're always trying new things, thinking of different ways to use AI, which has resulted, I believe, in some of the best and most amazing AI fails. Before we go to the AI fails, though, I just want to acknowledge that some of your AI wins, vibe coding your own community tool that you're working on right now, streamlining household operations, researching deep business topics to think about the future and plan for your family financially. Like, these are amazing AI wins, and I don't want to just gloss over them. Did I miss anything important there in the list of AI wins?
Oh my gosh. No. I mean, I guess we'll talk about it, with the fails. there are so many wins. There really, I mean, even the failures are wins. I hate to, that sounds cliche. And I hate when people say that, like, oh, when you're failing, you're learning. And I'm like, yeah, no, not me. I hate that. But, but honestly, like, getting more into AI, the failures honestly are hilarious, but extremely frustrating at the same time. Yeah. I feel like,
Okay.
yeah, I am winning with AI.
Well, let's get into some of those fantastic fails where, in fact, you won. I want to go back to, I think it's been maybe almost a year when what we'll call the appendix picture incident came out. Can you share a little bit about the appendix picture incident? It just makes me get the giggles every time I think of it. Okay,
I
so
think,
set
okay,
the
this
stage
one was
for us.
good.
What were you working on? What were you asking AI to do? And then
This was
what
great.
did it result in?
So if you know me, if you know anything about me, I love a deck. I think there's nothing nothing more critical than visually communicating what's going on in your brain. So my dream, honestly, is to find a tool, which I've yet to find. So, and if your subscribers can vouch for a deck making tool, I've tried probably 5. I was working on something for work, putting a deck together, and I said, the final, sure to add a slide for an appendix, right? Assuming this tool knew that I was working on a professional deck with lots of data, lots of information. This was in beautiful AI. So this amazing deck, I've been working on it. It's got graphs, and then it shows the appendix. And I scroll to the very end in presentation mode, and it's half the screen is a human body, like organ map with an appendix. And then it says the appendix, and it tells you about the organ. I don't know what it is. And so I nearly died. Like I nearly died laughing. This was my first like kind of I wouldn't it's not at a, it's not an error necessarily, right? But it was I literally like jaw dropped and laughed so hard. Which I kind of needed in that moment because I was a little stressed preparing these materials. Instantly took a screenshot and it to you.
Okay, I have so many
Is that
things
how
that
you
I love
remember
about
it?
this.
I mean, oh my gosh, so good.
One is that, here we are in July 2025, and the presentation tools they still need work and they still need human oversight. And this is going back a year ago. So you're really pushing the boundaries, asking AI to create your slides for you. So for anybody who doesn't get to see the picture of the appendix, just imagine a beautiful deck, good content, and then at the end, an actual picture of the human body, a map of the human body, and a picture of what an appendix is. One, the importance of context, because you're right, it wasn't wrong. You did say make a slide, make an appendix slide, but you didn't mean about the human body. You meant in the context of a presentation.
The appendix to me is legendary.
Yeah, these are the best fails. Okay, well, while we're on the topic of presentations, can you talk to us about the 72-hour bait and switch slide crisis or whatever we want to call it?
Okay. So at this point, I've moved off of beautiful AI and I dove in really heavy with chat. I call it ChatGPT chat to prepare an outline. So I wanted this like really intense, really thought out outline. So whatever tool I then kind of chose, I could plug it in and see what I get. So we went back and forth, and I dare I say we were really vibing. I was thinking, damn, this deck's going to be so good. It was giving me recommendations like, oh, you should also include these stats for more impact. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And it's like, okay, I'm going to find these stats for you, and I'm going to put it in an amazing sortable table. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. And then, I have this killer outline. I've got this vision. I'd spent like a good 30 minutes like talking to chat, being like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. And they're like, yeah, this is going to be the best deck ever. Like it literally said, it's going to be fire with like fire emojis. So I'm like, yeah. And it was like a pretty important pitch deck, right? And I was like, I'm going to crush this. And it says, do you want me to deliver this in Google Slides? And I like paused, and I think I texted you immediately. I was like, wait a second. There's not a Google Slides integration, is there? Like, I don't know, right? I've never experienced this before. And you were like, see what it does, right? And so for science, I was like, yeah, sure.
Do it for the mom.
Well, I thought either it was going to give me this bomb deck or it was going to give me garbage, which,
Yeah.
guess what happened? So I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, make the deck. I'll be waiting. And then it goes, okay, I'm going to give you a deck early next week. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not going to work. So I said, hey, chat, like, can I get it faster? Okay, I can turn this around in 72 hours. I'm like, but can I get it faster? And I said, okay, I can give you something in the next 12 hours. In 6 hours, I'll have the first half draft ready for you. So 6 hours, I walk away, do my thing, come back, and I'm like, nudge, where's it at? Oh gosh, I'm really making this extra fire for you. So it's going to come back in 3 hours. Okay. Come back in 3 hours. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this. Right. So I come back in 3 hours and I'm like, So, how's it going? Good to see you again. I need 30 minutes to polish up these little details for you. It's going to be amazing. And I'm like, can't wait. 30 minutes, nudge. I'm back. And they're like, okay, here's the first pass. Super long story short. I get 3 slides, 3 title slides. And it was like the title, and it was kind of just like a table of contents with just a list of all the things that we talked about doing together. So I was pretty disappointed. Yeah, I was mentally prepared after the first 6 hours. I was mentally prepared to do this on my own, you know?
The beauty of you is how far you'll push things and try new things with technology. Your optimism about the world, like this is going to work. The fact that you gave it 6 hours, but then also you always have a little plan B, like, okay, it's going to be me making this deck. So what did you end up doing? In the end, did AI give you any help, or did you manually make the deck yourself?
I mean, I had a really great outline, but when I then discovered I was going to have to manually do a lot of this work, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go for those extra high impact slides. But no, I Googled up another tool. I found a tool, Slides AI. Tried that. It's pretty neat. You can put in bulleted slides that you want. You could copy paste your whole draft in. I tried both ways. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah, it does integrate with Google Slides directly. It's a plugin. So you can pull up the sidebar and kind of edit and do your slides. So yeah, that was kind of the finished product, but it took a lot more manual work.
That's my take on presentations with AI right now, is that if I don't have a vision, if I don't know what I want it to look like and what I want it to say, then I can throw together a presentation using AI quickly. But when I have a strong vision or a visual profile that I'm seeking, it requires a lot more human intervention than maybe I would be hoping for.
Yeah. And I think that's where my expectations just aren't in line with what I can have right now. Right. But
well, we'll get there someday.
Yeah, that 72-hour turnaround was quite the waiting game.
Pushed, because what if you'd just been like, okay, see you in 72 hours, be back in 3 days.
Yeah.
And I'm
So
expecting
what if I actually like had a hard deadline for this pitch and I was like all in? I'm like all in on it, like waiting. Yeah, word to the wise, don't do that.
Well, let's turn our back on presentation fails and talk about the ultimate roast when you were hosting an event in your house. And I busted out my new party trick, which was using AI to put bangs on everyone. Tell us then about how you, unfortunately, unintentionally got roasted by chat.
This started with your girls, right? When you were trying on bangs. Yeah, I just remember you came up, we were by the fridge, and it was Carol. Carol was like, look at me with bangs. And I was like, what's going on here?
Our wonderful neighbor, Carol. But we were talking about how I was using AI to test out bangs for the girls, and she said, try it for me. And we tried it for a few other neighbors as well. And then Rachel, you came over and had always pushing the boundaries with AI because you had a better prompt. I was just saying, recreate this photo exactly and put bangs on this person so we can see what they look like. But you said, do you want to say it?
Recreate this image as a supermodel with bangs. So pretty much it said no.
Right.
So I'm like, either one, like there's some sort of like, not trying to turn everyone into supermodels, or it's like, this girl already looks like a supermodel. We can't do much to, So, but yeah, where do you think that prompt went wrong?
I like your take on it better. Like, she's already a supermodel. I can't make this image into a supermodel.
I wasn't able to generate the image you requested because it violates our content policies. Feel free to share a new prompt and I'd be happy to help.
So we're always pushing the boundaries.
I reran the prompt. What it gave back to me, I'd say it would be a bait and switch, because I know if I went to my hair salon and said, do this, I would not look like that image. So I'd be highly disappointed.
What about when moms have an AI fail? What would you say to moms who experience an AI fail? How can we bounce back from AI fails?
Laugh at it first. Laugh at it, take a screenshot and send it to your friend. Yeah. That's what I love to do. Because you know what? Like, it always makes you remember, like, AI is just AI. Like, it's not a real person, It's quite literal. You have to treat it like a child. And sometimes when you get things back like that, it's almost like you needed it in that moment. That appendix, like, I was so deep and so hardcore in that deck, like so stressed out. And when that appendix popped up, it made my night. So, take advantage of the funny failures. Of course, if something, really dramatic happens or unsafe or scary, don't laugh about it. But for the most part, if you kind of get a funny fail, circulate it, enjoy it, because it's going to be something you laugh about years to come.
Well, let's switch gears into chatbot mode, what I affectionately call chatbot mode. And I'll just throw out some quick questions and you give me the first answer that comes to mind for AI and moms. So, Rachel, tell me favorite AI tool.
Oh gosh. I mean, I'd say ChatGPT. If it's out of Chat, Claude, Gemini, like you should change this to Mary F. Kill.
Okay, Mary F. Kill, ChatGPT, Gemini,
Mary
and Claude.
Chat, Kill Gemini, F Claude.
Oh my gosh. Most unexpected AI use case you've discovered?
Honestly, most useful. As I said earlier, I have an only child. She's my first time, probably my last time. And even though she's 6, like she's extremely curious and asks questions. And, the questions she asks are things that like my parents would be like, oh, we'll explain it when you're older. And I'd be like, okay. Because my parents didn't know how to communicate with a probably 8-year-old at the time, or they didn't have resources, the internet or anything like that. And so we also kind of accepted like, yeah, you'll tell me one day. But with her, it's like the most amazing thing that's come of it is like it's teaching me how to be a better parent. So when she asks me, there's a lot of protests going on, and she asks, well, like, what is a protest? And I'm like, well, damn, like, how do I explain this to a 6-year-old that's not feeling bad or anything? And so it's really teaching me how to communicate better with her.
I love that. Well, while we're talking about parenting hacks, what's the best non-AI life hack or parenting hack you've used this year?
Probably the coolest, most useful hack, and I don't know if it's a hack if you pay for it, but meal prep, weekly meal prep. We have a pretty strict diet in this house, I'd say most of the time. And having someone come in and meal prep each week with me or for me gave me my weekends back.
What about a book or a podcast or a show? What's in your media diet that you could recommend to other moms?
I know it's Bravo. My biggest recommendation is really take some time to cut out and zone out, whatever that looks like for you and for me. On the TV front, I just want to escape, watch other people's lives unravel, laugh. So yeah, Bravo, anything and everything.
So what's in your Bravo lineup right now? Are you Real Housewives of Orange County? Are you Below Deck? Are you McBee Dynasty? Are you Valley?
You know what? I am an OG Miami fan, so I am all in on
Miami is back.
Rome.
Yes.
Yep, Miami's back.
Okay, last question is what's one thing you hope moms take away from the AI fail conversation?
If you could take one thing away from the AI fail conversation, I'd say manage your expectations. You will avoid frustration if you just lower your expectations. And I think I've heard that in life, like with dating people, like with everything. It's like go in with low expectations so that you are surprised with delight, right? So I'll say that. Keep your expectations lower.
I love it. Well, Rachel, thank you so much. I mean, always spending time with you is a treat, but thank you so much for sharing your AI fails so we can all learn from them and reminding us that AI isn't perfect and neither are we, but we can have a lot of fun along the way together. And thanks to everybody for joining the AI Empowered Mom podcast. If today made you laugh or gave you a new idea, and most especially, if you have a fail to share, please send it our way. You can email me directly at contact@aiempoweredmom.com, or you can message me on Instagram or TikTok at AI Empowered Mom, and I'll meet you right back here next time. Thank you again, Rachel.
Sarah, you should have a fail contest every month from all of your viewers and listeners and subscribers. You are showcasing the fail of the month. I think that would be
That is such a good idea. Oh my gosh. Enter your fail in the fail of the month club. Please send it my way, and Rachel and I can decide together who wins the fail of the month. That is a brilliant idea. Thank you so much, friend.
You're welcome. I love a good
Okay.